everybody, how you doing? So I've been uploading a bunch of videos and showing you the work that I've done around the property, but I have not done an update on my mental state, my mental health, my mental well-being, my emotional well-being. And the reason I'm saying that is because I watched back through a couple of the other videos and I talked about, my struggles after 2 weeks. And now it's been 2 months. Right now I'm house sitting for my daughter. We've had a rough February. It was a rough month for family and loss of family members. Multiple family members. It was a rough month. And so anyway, while she's away, I'm here taking care, looking after the animals and the house, and I might even market myself as a professional house sitter, because let me tell you something. I have sat houses for numerous people for a long lengths of time, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, Anyway, so I wanted to just talk about how things have been going over the last few weeks since I taped that one video like almost 4 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago. And things are improving every day. There are improvements every day, whether it's a section of the property that I clear out, it's a small victory here and there, like I just little things. Like now I just like checked the other day, how much water do I have in my water barrel? And it's a 50-gallon water barrel, and I'm up to about 30 gallons of water that I've collected from rain and the water source, the lake, and filtering everything. So it's like, wow, I've really I've collected a lot of water. I've made some improvements to the inside of the building. I've made some improvements to the outside. And I know you've seen that in the videos if you've watched them. And if you haven't, most of them are try to keep them fairly short, so I'm not taking up a lot of your time, because I get it. But yeah, and today I was thinking about how I got here and how I came to like embrace this state. Because let me tell you, when I moved to Florida, I had no intention of staying here, and I resisted everything about it. I resisted. And the area that I live in, and that I lived in for the most part, and I raised my children in, we were just a little bedroom community, really. And it's not, there's no culture, there's no identity. It's just this series of buildings and houses and more buildings and more houses, and it just doesn't make any sense, really, but it's here. And so I've always resisted it. And then when I moved to Washington, and I went through the naturalist training up there, and I was learning about Washington's ecology, and listening to the guys talk about the rocks and the soil and the retreat of the glaciers, and how those erratics, those big giant boulders, how they got put there, carried down and then just left behind as the ice retreated. And just fascinating things like that. The geology, it just made me like pay attention to things, like I love the natural world, but then I don't really pay that much attention to it. I need to pay more attention to it. The naturalist training really opened my eyes to that. I think it was there for 10 weeks that I went through. And then I wondered, why did I not learn more about Florida while I was there? What's Florida's story? What's your story, Florida? And how coming back here and looking at Florida and going, yeah, it's not, they're not the forests of the Pacific Northwest. It's a tropical atmosphere. It's jungle. We have jungle here, and I've just come to embrace that and learn about this state. And because despite the people who live here, Florida is a glorious, glorious state. I mean, it's just, its landscape is diverse. It's, you know, you can go to one part of Florida and feel like you're back in an old, you know, European fishing village, or you can go over to the other coast and, you know, feel like you're, I don't know, whatever. It's just, it's different everywhere you go in Florida. It's just a very different state. And, you know, its flora and fauna are also very different everywhere you go, and there's something to appreciate about it. So yeah, so I think it was Washington that opened my eyes to the beauty of Florida. And once I got back here, then I was like, okay, I need to like appreciate this state instead of trying to push back all this time, because pushing back obviously didn't work. And when I was in Washington, I lived in a place that was very much like the place that I was in Florida. And I just recreated my life there, job and all. All you did was pick me up from one spot and then put me in another, and then that's, you know? And it wasn't until I looked around at everything that Washington had to offer outside of that, that I thought, well, why couldn't I do that when I was in Florida? Because I didn't try. I didn't. I just pushed back. I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to be here. I'm supposed to leave here. I'm supposed to go to Colorado. I'm supposed to be out west. I'm supposed to... No, you know, and Washington is there. My daughter's still there. So I will be back there. I've already been back there numerous times, and it feels like home every time I do, because that landscape is so different from this one that it's just, it's refreshing. And then you come back to Florida, back into this tropical, you know, steamy, or you're up there in the cold, wild, wet Pacific Northwest. You know, it's an amazing contrast. And being out on my property makes me look at everything. The bark of the trees. I know which trees burn and how now. I've burned so many little sticks and twigs from these trees and things that I know which wood burns best for how long. It's just amazing what I've learned just from being on the landscape and you know, and using it and appreciating it. Appreciating it is definitely the better word, I think. Trying to use it, you know, I'm trying to not move things out that don't need to be moved, and be thoughtful about what I'm doing. Because this is our planet, you guys. This is our planet. This is where we live. This is where we live. And whether you believe in a heaven or a hell, it doesn't matter. Whatever most people believe after death does not continue to take place on the earth, right? So while you're here in this beautiful place, why not take care of it? I just don't understand. Why not appreciate what is around you and find a way to coexist with it? I mean, and that goes for people too, but that's a bigger problem. But we can start by coexisting with our environment and stop having to complicate our lives so much with gadgets and tools and things that we don't need. You know, I watched a YouTube video, this DIY thing the other day, and I tell people the story. I've been telling it for a couple of weeks. But this guy's like, I forget, it was something simple that I wanted to do, and I have a saw, and I have a hammer, and I have like a multi-tool, and I have no like electrical power out here. Okay, I'm not out here, out there. I have no power. So this guy, his like DIY step one is like go to Home Depot, because he just opened these doors, you know, and then there was this giant workshop with all these machines, and I'm like, dude, I got a saw, man, you know, give me a break. And I get it. I mean, I get it. But I just think we need to take closer looks at what we need as opposed to what we want, because there's a huge difference. And I think when we take those wants and we we go, yeah, but do I need that? Is that something that I need? Does it fulfill me? Does it change me? Does it alter me? Does it help me? Does it aid me? Or is it just something that I'm gonna stick in a closet somewhere and forget about, and then donate to somebody else or throw in the trash? Mindful. Mindful is not just about sitting in meditation and being quiet and listening to your breath. It's about being mindful about the things that you do, the choices that you make. And so that's why I guess, you know, I'm doing this channel. So they wanted a little intro video, and I guess this is it. So if you've sat through this whole long, nearly 11-minute video, then the other ones are nothing, because they're only like 4 or 5 minutes. All right, well, thanks for stopping by, and I hope I've inspired you in some small way. Small way. We all plant a little seed everywhere we go, you know. So we have to think about what seeds we plant. All right, happy planting, everybody.